Hello, my name is Taylor Allen. This is a fully functional machine learning pump pipeline built to train data in a seamless manner using multiple AWS services. Thank you for hearing my presentation today, and I hope you enjoy it. What we are looking at currently is a completed job of step functions inside of a state machine. I will be demonstrating the actual training of the model and the associated outputs. While this process runs, I will be discussing the overview of the project and its objectives. So what we do inside here is we simply start a new execution. And as you can see, my JSON input is already inputted. You will need to do this depending on which path you choose to take. For this instance, I chose to train two different models. And so my data set type for this one is the JSON, which is my meteorite data set from NASA. So we simply start the execution. And as you can see, the execution was started successfully. So as I said previously, this is a pipeline built for training data at scale and creating an endpoint to interface with the data you have just trained. This is extremely useful for building multiple language models with efficiency as it accepts multiple formats. I chose to do this because I want to specialize in machine learning and AI. I have always had a passion for machine learning and the problems that it solves as a whole. The major features it has is efficiency, reusability, and scalability. This technique allows for multiple model deployment across regions in a one-click fashion. Through Terraform, we can essentially deploy multiple services by using a Docker image mounted in the ECR service provided by AWS. This is essentially a GitHub repository in its most basic fashion. Concerning Terraform, we deploy multiple services, including two S3 buckets, a state machine configuration, complete with step functions, a Lambda function for our configuration, and we leverage the SageMaker Studio to train our model, deploy our model, and to configure as well as deploy endpoints, all encapsulated within our Terraform code. As well as deploying multiple services through Terraform, we can assign roles, policies, and permissions so that we do not have to configure them for ourselves manually. This aspect, in association with the others, gives us our reusability and scalability, as well as further makes this process easy for anyone to customize based on the needs of the business or task. What is unique about the algorithm I built is that it allows for large data sets and multiple format data sets with efficiency, as well as allowing for deployment in a one-click fashion. The most technical challenge I found was learning Python on an advanced level. Before this, I had an intermediate at best knowledge of Python, so I really had to research concepts and libraries that were foreign to my knowledge. I will show my technical presentation and tutorial, as well as how I use these concepts. So as you can see, our training pipeline was successful. Now in our step functions, we can see all all of our executions and how they were processed. This gives us a a very detailed view of how our model was trained and everything and how it advanced through the pipeline. So we can see that in definition, these are all of our step functions, which we configured through Terraform. And through this, we were able to accomplish everything that we needed concerning using AWS. So I'll show you the S3 buckets. This is our output path, and this is the training data where all of our data sets would be stored. If you had multiple data sets, this would be a great way to store them. And as you can see, our endpoint was created here, and this is inside of the studio, inside of the SageMaker Studio, we have our inference tab, and this is how we invoke our endpoint. So through a Jupyter notebook, we can essentially invoke our endpoint and interact with our trained model. And lastly, I will show you the Elastic Container Registry, our ECR, which is our image. So this is all of our code, for the Lambda functions to configure and to invoke so that our pipeline is actually built inside of AWS, and all of these different services are in use. In conclusion, this project was really fun to work on, and it made me very, very happy as a programmer to have completed. I would say that this is a culmination of all my efforts inside of the boot camp, and essentially it is my magnum opus for the projects. So I thank you for paying attention to my presentation and being here today. I hope you all have a good day. Thank you very much.